This week we're starting off by poaching some pears in red wine. So I'm going to zest a lemon with a veg peeler for some nice big zests, which are going to infuse in the red wine. Then halving my lemon because I'm going to use that with the pears. Then it's time to peel the pears using a veg peeler again. Just gently go all the way around. Try and keep the shape if you can. So if you have any kind of brown bits that need removing, rather than hacking at it with a knife and creating a hole, just peel over it until it's gone. Then lemon juice gets squeezed and rubbed all over the pear, and that will stop it from browning. Finally, the last thing to do for the prep is to remove the core. So I like to do this by taking a small paring knife and then just carving at the bottom, just carve out a circle to remove that little bit at the end, whatever that's called, and then keep carving till you reach the middle and you'll reach the seeds, and just remove those and you're good to go. But really, you don't have to worry about this too much. Finally, for the poaching liquid, I'm adding all of my pear peelings, the lemon zest, a bottle of red wine, some vanilla, grating in some nutmeg, and finally adding a cinnamon stick. That can go on the hob, bring to the boil, simmer it for 10 minutes, and then it's ready for the pears. Adding all the pears in snugly and then covering it up with some parchment paper. If you don't know how to make a circle of parchment paper, which is also called a cartouche, then check out my pear upside down cake recipe where I share this hack. Simmer the pears halfway through, remove the cover, turn them around, put the cover back on, leave them to simmer until they have imbibed with the poaching liquid. They're nice and red and tender, and then you just leave the liquid to simmer and reduce down until it's got a syrupy consistency, so you can put a spoon in and it sticks to the back of the spoon. Then onto the chantilly, which is just whipped cream with icing sugar and vanilla bean paste. Taste it to make sure it's sweet enough, and make sure not to over whisk it so that it doesn't split. So if needed, switch to a spoon and just be very gentle with it. I always think it's best to under whip and then mix it with a spoon. Then finally, roasting chestnuts, and you can also use chestnut puree here instead, or you can use both. I do think the whole chestnuts add a nice bit of texture, but you could also put a bit of chestnut puree in the meringue nest or swirl it into the chantilly, and that will add lovely flavor as well and a bit more depth. Just assemble it, and you can either pipe the cream or smother it on, and we're good to go. This is such a lovely combination. Now, if you want to make your own meringue, be my guest. I'm going to show you how I make my vegan meringues, and I've made them chocolate because that also pairs really well with chestnuts and pears. So you start off by reducing chickpea water until it about halves in size and it's about the consistency of an egg white. Leave it to cool down and then whip it. When it's at soft peaks, you add in some cocoa powder, some sugar, and some vanilla while whipping still, and adding it 1 spoonful at a time until the sugar's fully dissolved and it's a lovely stiff peak consistency. Then pipe it, remove all the air by squeezing it down the piping bag. Then twist it around your hand, and you're ready to pipe some meringue nests, or here I'm just making some discs because I'm going to show you a different way of plating this dessert, which is a little bit more, I guess, modern, a different way. So then that meringue just needs to dry out in the oven at a low temperature. Full details are in the recipe, and leave them to cool down. Then we're ready to plate. So we just start off by piping a little circle to pop our pear into with a chantilly, and then just pipe or spoon a bit of chantilly cream that you can add your shards of chocolate meringue, which you've broken up, onto, and then just crumble on some chestnuts, and there you have it. Lovely centerpiece for the festive period.